Hi everybody, Hippie Graham here. Just wanted to make a vlog about bosses. I have a boss right now who, look at me, I'm tongue-tied, I don't even know where to begin. She's something that I call a person that is missing their filter. And I'm sure we've all met people in our lives that fall into this category. It's the type of person who, formulates the thought in their head, and instead of it being filtered before it comes out of your mouth, it just goes whoop, right out of your mouth. And I don't understand that if a person is a supervisor, in this case her title is director, that she would not understand how important it is to think out what she says to people. And also the decisions, a little tongue-tied here, the decisions she makes. Basically, a lot of her decisions are based on what her personal feelings are about something. I'm trying to think of an example. There's so many, but a perfect example, and I don't want this to be draggy because you'll be bored, but a perfect example is when recently we were getting ready for the start of our new year, and we do a lot of cleaning and getting rid of stuff and so on, and we have cube chairs. They're made out of a heavy plastic, and the children use them for various things. They can be turned over to accommodate the smaller children, and then turned to the other side to accommodate the taller children. They can be turned on their side to be used as a little table with another chair, cube chair. So they're very versatile, and they're not inexpensive. They still sell them in most catalogs for preschools, and I think the last time I checked, they were $59.99 each. Well, our center had I'd say about 30 of them, maybe 40. I'm not sure. Yes, a lot of them needed to be really scrubbed down and cleaned because a lot of people don't use them. But we used them in our room this past year. They were great for the kids that are learning how to sit. And, because of the fact that they're square on the side, it gives them a sense of protection. And, of course, as I said, you can turn them over when they're getting taller. They like to push them around the room, use them as like a type of walker when they're learning to walk. They like to just sit on them to look at a book. We have a music teacher that comes in, and they like to sit on them for music instead of the floor. Plus, it keeps them a little more contained without restraining them, and they tend to pay attention better. So anyway, sorry. Needless to say, she doesn't like these chairs. So she decided that we were getting rid of them. So I already had a few in my room, and she said I could keep them because they're good. We sit on them when we feed the children because they're the right height for us to be able to feed the children without hurting our backs. So when I heard they were giving them away, I went out and tried to grab another couple of them, and the woman that was cleaning them made the mistake of telling the director this. So she comes into my room, and she is like, "Why are you taking these chairs? I told you I don't like these chairs. We don't need these chairs," and blah, 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 blah. So, needless to say, at first I started to argue with her about the chairs. Not argue, but disagree with her, and explain to her why I liked the chairs and why they were good for the children. But she didn't want to hear it, because she doesn't like these chairs. So, needless to say, I was able to keep 4 of the chairs, and they are considered children's chairs. And we are supposed to have children's chairs in our room in order to meet the standards of Keystone Stars, which is a program in Pennsylvania. And she said something about using these. Well, you can use those chairs. By those chairs, she means we have another chair called a Riften chair, which is a heavy wood with a tray on it where they eat. And if you saw any of my other videos, you would see one of them, you can see the chair I'm talking about. Well, you have to adjust the feet for the size of the child. So if the child's tall enough, okay, granted, they could sit in it and put their feet on the ground because you take off the footrest and then they're stable. But for the smaller children, with a footrest, which is high or straight depending on their size, you cannot sit them in it without the tray. And you're not allowed to restrain children. If they just want to sit in a chair to read a book or whatever, they have to have the freedom to be able to get up. Well, they can't get up in these chairs because they're unsafe. They would tip over if the tray is not on it. So then when I explained this to her and said, well, you know, my main concern is the safety of the children, her response to me was, well, of course, that is your main concern. It should always be. Instead of saying something like, well, I'm glad you're concerned with the children's safety, and which any normal supervisor or director would say. No, not her. Well, long story short, I do have 3 chairs. All the rest were given away. I have no other chairs that the children can sit in to meet these standards that we're supposed to have. And that's an example of how she makes her decisions. As I said, she also will talk to people in front of other people. A few years ago, I had to work in the office for about a month and a half because I was injured, and she would leave her door open and start these conversations with other employees in front of people. I used to walk away because I was embarrassed. I didn't want to hear what was being said. She'll talk about being a professional, about confidentiality, but then she will say stuff that, as far as I'm concerned, is a breach of confidentiality and act very unprofessional. Well, she's been with this company for years and years and years, and she's not going to go anywhere. I'm sure they've had numerous people complain. I know people that have left where I work because of her, and have written letters complaining about it, but nothing is ever done. So that's the example of the boss that I have right now. And I love my job, love the people I work with. It's just such a sad state of affairs that the director of of my place of employment right now is just so aggravating, stressful to be around. My class is in a separate building from where her office is, so I don't get to have to see her every day, except if I go down to pick something up. But I mean, she's not in my classroom very often, so I usually don't have her there all the time. But again, just one story. I have a lot of them, but that's just the one that came off the top of my head right now. So I would just be interested in hearing from anyone, either in the comments section or a video reply, about the worst boss you ever had and some of the strange things they do. Well, that's it for now. I'm going to be trying to make more videos, but for some reason I just have a hard time doing all the downloading and editing and so on, because I'm new to this. But thanks for watching, and I will talk to everybody later. Peace.